This is the iFlight Nazgul DC5 Eco, and in this video we're going to unbox it, fly it, tear it down, and find all the changes from the initial release, all to decide if this is worth your hard-earned money. And I want to make it clear, I'm not sponsored by iFlight in any way, and I bought this drone with my own money. In the box you get two sets of propellers, a bag of bits, the drone itself, stickers and instructions. The bag of bits has two battery pads, one for here and one spare, lots of little screws for two antennas, stuff for the GoPro mount, prop nuts, and that's it. I really like the look of this. That's just really cool. I went through everything in Betaflight and it's all set up how you'd want it. Bidirectional D-shot is enabled, which means the ESC has Blue Jay instead of BLHS. In case you're wondering, that's a good thing. Shows that iFlight has put some effort in. Apart from setting custom rates, the only thing I changed was the OSD. Don't get me started on this nonsense. What is this? Alright, that's better. I bound my controller to the drone, activated and bound the O3A unit, then stuck a lens protector on the O3 camera, cause it's expensive. There we go, we've got everything on. Got a 6S 1300 mAh battery on here, and two flights, one's just the O3, and I'm gonna put a GoPro on top. Let's go. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, check out the sunset. Oh, that's beautiful. This flies really nicely, very smooth, cinematic. The dead cat shaped frame works, yep, seems just fine. Oh man, this is so nice. Beautiful. Oh, the evening is so nice with the sun like this. Look at that. Keep it nice and low. This drone flies really nicely. Compared to my Cinewhoop, this is way faster, more smooth. Oh, there's a bit of a glitch there. And the colors are really nice with the O3A unit, much nicer than analog, I'll tell you that. Only 5-inch that I've flown up to now has been my analog one that I built. And boy oh boy is this so much nicer. Oh yeah. The range is just so much better. I have really good signal right now. With the analog, it kind of suppresses trying to do any sort of cinematic stuff because you can't see how nice stuff actually looks through that. But with this, you can actually get a feel for how it looks. So this is much better for creating cinematic stuff. Mind you, this footage is just on the O3. Wait till we stick a GoPro on. This is gonna absolutely insane. A little bit of prop wash. It's not like it's got no prop wash. Obviously that's not possible, but it's very minimal. Oh man, the range is really good. Like even with my Cinewhoop that has DJI 3, I don't think it can quite go this far. So the extra big antennas in the back of this really do help. For the price, you can't, honestly guys, you can't go wrong with this quad. This is insane. This is going to go everywhere with me. Mind you, I haven't flown that many drones in my life. Still quite a beginner, but this is the nicest thing I've ever flown. For my analog quad, I'd be out of connection well and truly by now. Like this is really good. Alright, so far I've been flying for 6 minutes. So if you're just cruising like I am right now, you get about 6 minutes. But if you're really pushing the freestyle tricks, you probably won't be getting 6 minutes. But I'm at 6 minutes and I'm still going. It's only a 1300 mAh battery, so that's decent. Check out these orbits. Like this is just so much better controlled and more fine-tuned than my Cinewhoop by far. Like I can't orbit like this with my Cinewhoop at all. Wow, that's insane. That's by far the best drone I've ever flown. And it is not the most expensive drone I've ever flown. If you're a beginner, buy 3 of them. This is just really nice. GoPro Hero 11 with a ND16 on it. Hopefully they'll be bright enough. Let's go. It's still hitting it. Yeah, so you can see on here, this screw is hitting it. It's actually damaging the propeller. I'm gonna have to use this little screw that they included instead of the regular GoPro screw because it's too fat. And ready to go. Let's go fly. Oh wow, this flies just as good. Honestly, I can't even tell as the GoPro one. But maybe a little bit, like it takes a bit more throttle, but flies just as good. So this flies really nicely with the GoPro. I'm really impressed. 200 meters. I don't know how accurate this OSC is, but oh, look at that, dude. Look at that. This is like the ultimate prop wash test. Yeehaw. Well, that was cool. A little bit of prop wash. So here's some prop wash. I can't say this now, like if I go like this, you can see a little bit of a shake there. Do that again. But nothing major. Alright, one last prop wash test before we land this bird. Okay, there's a little bit of prop wash. That was about the most extreme prop wash you're going to get. So pretty good. So a little bit in the garden. Perfect. I'm blown away. This thing flies so incredibly well. 100% recommend this to anybody wanting a good 5-inch. Now let's tear it down and see what's changed since version 1. Straight off the bat, there are no 3D printed parts on the Nazgul Eco. So usually things like the arm protectors, GoPro mount, and antenna holders are 3D printed. I checked every review of version 1 that I could find, and on Joshua Bardwell's video, you can clearly see layer lines, which are telltale signs of a 3D printer. And on the current version, it's completely smooth. The same being true for the rest of the plastic parts. So they must have been injection molded. I won't go into detail about how injection molding works, but for mass production, it ends up being cheaper than 3D printing by a long shot. And hopefully the quality is better as well, because in Bardwell's video, the TPU GoPro mount literally stretched and split into 2 pieces after a hard crash. That's just wild. Okay, now we can pull it apart. I took the GoPro mount off and the top plate has the iFlight logo. The next change is the addition of side panels. They protect grass from getting into your electronics and they only weigh 5 grams each. If you're such a weight saving snob that you can't handle the extra 10 grams, it's not that hard to take them off if you really have to. The 2 USB-C ports come with rubber covers. That definitely wasn't done on version 1. The ESC motor pads stick out so much you could probably solder them on without having to take the flight controller off. And it looks like the motor wires are the only thing that iFlight have soldered. The buzzer, receiver, anti-spark filter, and O3 all use connectors. Does the job, I don't care. So here's the difference the anti-spark filter makes. With no spark filter, you hear a loud pop when you plug a battery in. And then with the anti-spark filter, it basically soft starts it. And yes, you can replace the usual startup sounds with whatever tune you want. The final change since V1 is the XT60 battery plug, and I do not like it. The Eco first came with a loose cable, but now they've changed it to a fixed plug that points away from where the battery sits. If I put my battery in the middle, the cable isn't long enough to plug in, so I have to move it nearly all the way to the back. And when you move it all the way to the back, the battery strap barely holds the battery at all. The ridiculous thing is that if iFlight had designed the plug to point straight up or even slightly backwards, the cable could reach from anywhere. So to recap, here's everything that has changed since version 1. The packaging is 2 pieces of foam instead of 1. Definitely doesn't matter. All the plastics that would usually be 3D printed out of TPU are now presumably injection molded. I think it's a slight upgrade over TPU. The XT60 battery plug is now a fixed connector instead of a loose cable. The result is a downgrade in my opinion, and there are now side plates to protect your electronics from the grass. I think that's pretty good. Overall, this just might be the most value for money FPV drone you can buy. It's even had a slight price drop to only $392. However, with the O4 air unit set to release very soon, you might need to get in quick if you want the O3 version of the Eco, or just build your own like I did for my first drone. If you want to see what that looks like, check out this video here. And trust me, it was pretty crazy.